and welcome back to the 5-Hour Show. I'm your host, and this is Raymond's Robots Reviews, Repairs, and Restorations. And as you can see, today we're doing a restoration. Now, I'm not like other YouTube channels that actually love cars. I do love cars, don't get me wrong. But I'm not a gearhead like some of these guys are. I wish I was, but I'm not. When it comes to restorations, I do have quite a bit of experience. I don't have that experience, however, in the automotive world. But that's why pencils have erasers. If I make a mistake, we'll learn from it together. So, anyway, as you can see, this is a 2008 Fairlady Z Tomica. And the scale of it the scale of this is actually, as you can see here, it is a 1/57 scale. It's a 2008 Fairlady Z, Nissan Fairlady Z, number 55, Tomy. Now this one is made in China. Now I do have some that are Japanese, but most new Tomica cars are made in China, Vietnam, I think maybe even Taiwan, I'm not sure. But anyway, this one is one of those newer, as you can see, that thing is beat up, and it's a new car too. But as you can see, we're gonna have to restore this. The wheels are not that bad, but they could use a little touch up. Now this one in particular, the doors open, as you can see, and it's got really nice interior. So, well, anyway, so let's get started with this thing. So what we're going to need, of course, is what all these guys use. We're going to need a tap. We're going to need this tap. And for this Tomica, the outer rivet, we're going to need a 3mm. There's the 3 on there. 3mm. We're going to need a 1.6 millimeter drill and a 2mm tap. We're also going to need all-purpose oil. Oh, see, I didn't even have to translate that. But that right there is oil. Which one is all-purpose? I'm going to guess this is all, and I'm going to guess this is purpose. So, there you go. I'm learning as I teach, or as I'm doing this show. Anyway, so let's get started. And before we get started, I wanted to point out that this is technically the before footage. Get it? Get it? Before? You're not funny. All right. Now let's drill this out. Using the 3mm bit, I'm putting it into my Makita. So now, I'll drill this thing out. Okay, actually, what we're gonna do is going to use a 3.5mm because the 3mm was too small. So let's see if that'll do it. Got it. Okay, got it, guys. Popped out. There you have the simple interior. Now this is a plastic base. Sometimes, the original Tomicas, most of them, all had a metal base. Not all of them per se, most of them. Here's the interior, which does not pop out unless I open the doors. Maybe they'll pop out. There it is. that's what I thought. You had to pull it back up. You had to back up the interior. That's why it wouldn't come out. So when we put this thing back, we got to put it from the rear in. Look at those racing seats. And yes, you know, in Japan, the driver is on the right side, not the left side like it is in the US. I'm sure this is the same for England as well. But anyway, there's the interior. And here are the doors. There's not a lot of detail in there. As a matter of fact, it looks kind of terrible, to tell you the truth. So there are the doors. And here's the plastic windshield, which, thank goodness, is not riveted in. But that does scare me. That is very scary. One wrong move and snap. Whew, okay. And here's the body. That big part in the front is really terrible. The rear looked really raggedy too. So the front and the back. On the side, well, the side looks raggedy too. That's really bad. The only good part was the top. The whole top. Look at the interior. You know, the interior, I guess they are painted, but they're not as well painted as they are on the outside. So these are easy to pop out. I'm assuming these are sort of like those Matchbox fast wheels. As you can see here, there's a slight bent, and that could have been my fault. I'm sure we can straighten it out just a bit. We'll clean these up a little and see what we can do. Now, I have an idea on how we can straighten this so that it's not that bad. But you're wondering, well, that's going to be tough. Actually, it might not be tough. We'll use a jig. I have a jig that I can use that might be able to help straighten this out. Maybe. We'll see. Here's the rear wheels. And yes, the rear wheels are also a tad bit bent. Now, you're saying, well, why don't you use some of those wheels like those other guys on YouTube? I would. I really would like to put some of those nice wheels, but since how this is my first video, I'd like to make it, you know, keep it as close to original as possible. It's not going to be a perfect restoration. It'll be the best I can possibly make. Now, when it comes to the color of the body, what I want to do is actually choose a color that will make this car look really nice with the burgundy interior, because I'm not going to paint this. I'm just going to paint the car itself. I'm still going to use the same wheels, and maybe this thing will turn out okay. And the more I do it, the more comfortable I'll get, and the better results we'll get over time. So let's get started. All right. Now that we have our car taken apart, we're going to have to drill and tap. And like I said before, we're going to use a 1.6 millimeter drill. I'm going to try to use a smaller router. If that doesn't work, I'm going to use the Makita. Then we're going to tap it with a 2 millimeter using some oil. Okay, here we go. Now the 1.6 millimeter drill bit does not fit into my router. It's too small. So I'm gonna have to use the large chuck on the Makita. And here goes nothing. Make sure you guys can see. I've put a piece of tape on the drill bit so that I don't go past that point. And I gotta be super gentle with this drill bit. See if I can pinpoint the middle of it. It should be self-guiding. Okay, here goes nothing. Now, I don't want it to get damaged, so I'm actually going to put some oil on the drill piece itself. The drill bit. Again, I don't want it to get damaged. These things are not cheap, but let's see. Success. We didn't drill through, and we reached the level we needed to reach. Onto the rear side. When you're drilling out to tap it, it's best to let the drill bit or the Makita or router that you're using do the work. All you got to do is guide it in. Don't be in a hurry, because you could snap your bit, or worse, you can snap the bit inside the car and really ruin your day. Okay, here goes. I was just checking that I wasn't going too far. I think we're good. There you go. Now let's tap them. So once again, we're going to put oil on our 2 millimeter. You can never put enough. There we go. You always want to make sure you go slowly. I'm guessing I tapped it, but I'm not super happy with the way I tapped it. To tell you the truth, as a plumber, yes, I've heard all the crack jokes before, but as a plumber, honestly, tapping was one of the most scary jobs you had to do, because if you broke that tap or you didn't get that thread you wanted on the inside, you're gonna have to tear out that whole tub. Okay, give me a second, guys. Might have to tighten. There you go. Had to tighten the tap a little bit. Want to make sure I go deep down and make sure that screw goes in nice and snug. But I also want this tap to live through this one. Alright. Hope that came out okay. On to the front. Again, nice and slow. There's no hurry. If there was, we wouldn't be doing this. Now I'm going to use 2mm screws that I actually bought where I bought this tap as well. I did order some online, which are the hex or the button style, but I only got 50 of those. And with everything that's going on, that's not how I wanted that to go in, but it's been a while since I tapped anything, so no sexual innuendo there. Anyway, let's see if our tap was successful. Let's give that a little clean. Now let's not spill the oil. Now let's see if we can't get some of these screws in there. Yeah, they're screws. I was really looking for hex or stars, but for some reason they're not selling those at the store that I got this tap set from. It's not the best screw I want to use, but it'll have to do. And so let's get 2 of these screws out. So now let's get on with the screw and see how that works out. Cross my fingers. Alright, well that came out okay. Let's see the rear, which is the one I'm not too excited about. Right on. As you guys can see, that was a success. Okay, now we have our car, our two doors. Now it's time to strip that paint. So what we're going to use today is a Suisei Hagashi, which is a water-based paint remover. It's sort of like a gel, ecological gel type, sort of like the kind that Paul the Restorer over on his channel uses. Except mine is made by this company, Alesco. As you can see, it's Japanese. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to drop it into the container and give it a helping hand of remover on the inside. I want this paint job to be really nice. So, just a little more. Can't be too cheap with this stuff, so I think the tappings will be safe because we left the screw in there, so there's no paint to be removed on that section. Alright, and then now I know it's a water base, but it still has some type of fume, so I'm gonna seal this. This is my margarine garlic butter container. So see you in a bit. And we're back, and it's been in there for about, I would say, half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour. And as you can see, that paint is peeling off really nicely. That's not bad for a water-based paint. It does take some time, I guess. But look at that, it's just peeling off. So let's see how good it worked. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna say that was a success. So let's check the car. And yeah, that's not bad at all. So we'll wash this thing out and we'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, so now we finished washing the paint remover off the body. And as you can see, it came out pretty well. Not all of it, but it's not bad, as you can see. The doors were okay as well. Not super 100%, but they're there. The major parts are off. If you can see on the close-up, it's more of the nooks and crannies of the body. Sorry, the body panel lines is where the major problem is. So we're gonna have to clean that up. And we're gonna do that using some of these. And now we're gonna clean the body. Okay, and now that we've got it polished down and everything, I do want to sand it. So I'm going to use 600 to sand it. Just a slight sand. Nothing too deep. That looks much better. Alright, now we're going to head into the finer grit. Just a little bit. It's not going to be that much. The 1000 grit. Almost there. I think we're good with the body. You can see, looks really nice. I am still going to give it a little bit more of a polish. Again. That front came out really nice. Here's the body ready to go. Now, originally I was thinking, well, you know, how about a blue? What about purple, or heck, even an orange or a shiny red? And I thought, you know, that's not even remotely close to the original color. Now I thought, well, I have all these. I've got silver. Nope. I've got the chrome silver. Nope. That's not going to do it. I've got metallic gray, which was actually closest to. And then I got dark gray. I said, that's not going to work either. I even thought, well, what about something different, like a Gundam color? And this is like a green. One of those... it says IJN green, so it's Nakajima or something like for aircraft carrier or something. But no, the color just doesn't work. And I thought, well, you know, I'm not going to use those today. I did want to, but I'm going to use something that I've been saving for a while, and I wanted it for a good reason. So here it goes. It's metallic black. And so it's going to give it a nice coat, something like this. Now this is retired. They don't sell these anymore. So I should have picked up more, and my instinct was telling me to pick up more, and I did, but I picked up what I could because I had to buy other things as well. But like it says, it's a metallic spray. It's black. And I think that that color will go really nicely with this car. So that's what we're gonna do. Primer is primer surface. So that's what this is right here. So that's what we're gonna go with. So without further ado, let's get started. Now we paint. Now we're gonna wash the interior, just wash it, nothing else, and the plastic base for the car body, and that's it. That we're going to sand down. I don't know if you can see, it's a lot of scuffing there, and yeah, of course, some kid really roughed it up. So we're gonna sand this down, and then we're going to polish it. And we'll be back in a minute. And here we go. Here is the interior. Now, like I said before, I'm not going to touch it up. Just going to leave it as is. I think the burgundy looks really good, contrasted with the metallic black. And so I think that's going to look nice. Maybe the steering wheel, but no, just going to leave it as is. The plastic base is also in really nice shape. I washed it with a toothbrush and a scouring pad, and came out looking really nice and clean. Air dried underneath the metal strip. So I don't think you can pull it out. That's fine. Leave it as is. So the next thing we're going to get started on is the windshield. Now, I did wash it, but it still has all that scraping, so we got to get rid of that. So give us a second. And here we are. I've got 2000 grit. I'm going to lightly sand it, very lightly. And I went straight to the 2000 grit because these scratches are not as bad. So I want to make sure that I don't make anything deeper that I don't have to afterwards, which we will polish. Gotta be careful with that little connection there. It's so small. It's so scary too. It'll break. So gotta be very careful not to hold on to that center section. Okay, now it's time to polish it. You can see I'm rubbing the compound all over the windshield, sorry. And we're going to get started. And here we are, the painted body. I let this dry for about a half a day now, and I think you'll agree that black metallic is the camera's not doing it justice, but it came out really nice for a spray can, which they don't sell anymore. I kind of wish I picked up a little more of that paint. But as you can see, the rear too, the body looks much nicer. You can see where those clamps were holding it. But again, looks really nice. So we're going to do a little detail on this. Doors came out really nice as well. They came out really nice. So do a little more detail. We'll be right back. And here we go. Now that we have all our parts painted, polished, cleaned, touched up, we can assemble the model back together, and I'll show you the final product in just a bit. And here we are, guys. Our Nissan Fairlady Z 2008, fully restored with a black metallic paint job. Details. Interior is cleaned. Windows polished. The tires have been added a little bit of chrome paint. Not Molotov marker. I actually used chrome spray paint sold in Japan. Now, it isn't as perfect as I'd hoped it would be. Kind of hard to get some fine paint brushes to do those tiny details. I would have liked to have added more details to it, but it can be hard as it is now. So anyway, in conclusion, I'd like to say that this first restoration of many more to come, I'm going to make a lot of these. I love this. This first one is dedicated to Yasuhiko Sano. He passed away this year in February of a heart attack. And the only thing he ever wanted to do, from knowing him these past few years, is when I introduced him to some of those YouTubers that restore cars, it was the one thing that he really did want to do. And unfortunately, he never got a chance, and I wanted to make a video with him doing a restoration. And since he was very fond of Fairlady Z's, I thought this would be a fitting tribute to him. So, again, in conclusion, this is dedicated to Sano-chan. I love him and I miss him. Yoko does too. And I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'd like to thank you for coming to the channel. Please don't forget to share, like, subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next episode of the 5 Hour Show. Thanks. God bless.